and welcome to Ignite Your Business. This is Dana Susan Beasley of AngelArts.biz, and today I'm going to talk about the 6 secrets of starting a business. So first of all, starting a business is not an easy task. In fact, for me, a lot of times when I was first starting out, I felt like I was chasing that pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, and it seemed to be an illusion. And I never thought that I would get there. There were times when I doubted myself. So I want to take you through these 6 steps quickly to help give you confidence to get it done, to get that business started and successful. So the first step is to identify your why and passions. And this is very important because if you don't know your why, if it's not just beyond, making money, which of course we all want to make money when we're in business, that's the point, right? But it's got to be beyond that. Why do you want to make the money? Now, for me, a lot of that is my family, my son, being able to provide a legacy for him and for my family. And there's a lot more to that, but there are many, many whys. And because I deeply want to help people, and I want to help them to escape the burden of living paycheck to paycheck, because I know how awful that feels. So you need to know your why and your passions. And your passions, because that's going to help inform you what you need to do with your time. Because ultimately, it's a lot better if you do work that doesn't feel like work. Of course, there's always going to be grunt work involved, especially when it comes to marketing and accounting and things like that. But on the whole, on the balance, you want to be doing things that you really enjoy doing. So think about your why and your passions. The second step is to analyze your marketing and communications objectives. So mainly, who are you trying to reach? Who are you trying to help? And how are you going to reach out to them? How are you going to communicate to them? What is your message? Very, very important. That's all a part of your brand, which I'll talk about later. But you want to really define your target market and those communication objectives, what the message is that you have to that target market. And especially important is to communicate your value. You always want to lead with value, because if you don't, then you just become like you race to the toilet bowl. For instance, my husband, he has an architecture business, which I help him run. I'm the business director. I helped him start it. And there have been many times when he felt like he was on a race to the toilet bowl contest. And what I mean by that is they just wanted the lowest bid, and it really kind of hurt his confidence level. But to realize that it's not about the price, it's about the value that you bring to the customer, and that is what's important. And you always want to lead with that. And when somebody asks you, well, how much does it cost? You need to learn how to say, well, I'd love to tell you, but first let me tell you what you get, or let me tell you how you benefit from this. And for all of that price, you get, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you always want to lead with value. Okay, so let's talk about step 3 to starting a successful business, a successful home business, if that's what you want to do. And that is to create a name and a slogan that works for you. Now, again, I'm going to talk about my husband because he was my first student. He was my guinea pig when I wrote my first course called Brand Identity Quest. And he went through my course and he figured out the name Essential Pillar, which really fits him to a T, and it works. And then he came up with a whole slogan that he has, which is safeguarding lives through robust building design. And in that, he has what he does, which is building design, and it describes what makes him different. So coming up with that name and slogan is going to be the defining step for your business, and it's going to give that business direction. That leads to step 4, which is implementing a brand and design strategy. So that all comes from your name, and that's going to inform you of what your logo is going to look like. For instance, with my husband, obviously, since it's Essential Pillar Architecture, he wanted a picture of a building in there, and because it's a pillar, he drew this this pillar and that we made it the center of the logo design. And so that was very handy or it's been a really good logo for him, and it's worked well because people will look at it and they'll literally go, oh, I know exactly what you do. And that's what you want to happen when somebody sees a logo. You want them to say, oh, I know what you do. So what you want to do is you want to figure out what you want to design or have somebody else design. And you want to figure out how you're going to get that out in front of others. That's very important because you can have the most beautiful logo in the world, the coolest logo in the world, but if you don't get it out in front of others, it's not going to matter. So you need to think through that. So step 5 to starting a business is to use professional design standards. If you don't hire a professional, find out what those standards are. Now, let me just tell you that using something like Fiverr, while it sounds convenient, it can actually not be good for you because you get what you pay for. And a cheap logo really is not going to bring the results that you want. Think about it this way. Here in Colorado, there's a lot of cookie cutter neighborhoods and all these houses look alike. And the problem is, I've done this, I can get lost in one of those neighborhoods looking for a friend's house because everything looks alike. And that's what happens with logos that are not up to professional standard or that are designed by somebody who is not a professional, because in order to make money, they are going to make everything look alike, or they're not going to really know how to take your brand, which is the essence of who you are, that's what a brand is, and translate that into a logo. That takes a professional. So think about that. Step 5, use professional design standards. Okay, so now on to step 6, which I think in a way is hardest, especially this part, setting up legal systems and setting up communication systems. So you'll want to figure out what your entity needs to be, whether it's a sole proprietorship, an S corporation, an LLC. And then after that, you will need to figure out your communication system. Are you going to have a cell phone? What is your email going to be? And again, the more professional you are, the more people are going to take you seriously. So for instance, oh, and there's my dog barking, of course. I work at home, so that's one of the interesting things is having the dog around. But anyway, so let's say that somebody calls your cell phone and you have no message on there. It doesn't say who you are, it doesn't say what business you are. You're going to confuse people. So you want to make sure that when they reach you, it says, for instance, on mine, it says something like, hi, you've reached Dana Beasley with Angel Arts. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Something like that. So you want to make sure that they know who you are and what company you're with. And so that's the kind of communication system I'm talking about. And let me just say something about the legal. It's best to find some professional help with that. I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to give you that disclaimer, yada, 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 but you want to go to a professional about that to figure that out. There's lots of things to think about when you're talking about legal structure. All right, so I've boiled down a huge process of starting business into 6 steps. I hope that helps. I hope that helps get rid of that overwhelm so that you're not just chasing that pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, but it's real for you and it's successful. So one of the steps after all of these, like what's next after you've done all of these or during all of this also, you could do that, is to make a business plan. And that is something that I've been promoting, is a course all about business planning. And I've divided it into easy steps, 5 easy steps to be exact. So there's 5 videos on demand and lessons. And also in that course, you get an interactive PDF workbook. So by the end of it, you will have your business plan done. You will understand the terms that sometimes can get intimidating, but I make it very easy. So please check into that. I really want to help as many people as possible, so it's completely affordable. Just take a look at that, and that's my dog saying hi. But anyway, that is really going to help you ignite your business to get a plan. All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Igniting Your Business or Ignite Your Business. This is Dana Susan Beasley of angelarts.biz. Together, may we reach new heights in our lives and beyond.